The following is a transcript of a conversation between Matías De Stefano, referred to as me, and his higher self, referred to as I am. 30th December 2020, Oceans and Seas. Me. I was sitting in front of an ice shelf, alone, wondering who I was, and suddenly, out of nowhere, a voice began to tell me a story, the story of water. Imagine that the universe is a vast ocean. Inside it is deep and dark, giving the impression of emptiness, but knowing that in reality it is full. Its power is infinite, but since it was everything, it could never see or experience what it was capable of. So the ocean decided to express itself. Its movements created waves and currents, which we call time. And it also created two great forces, a warm one on the surface and a cold one in its depths, which we call positive and negative. Together they created a greater current, a spiral vortex that traversed the entire ocean, experiencing everything within itself to the fullest, but externally. This force generated heat, and the ocean evaporated. For the first time, the whole came to know itself in a new form, as gas. The steam began to rise, and the ocean disappeared. It knew it would come back one day, but with new nutrients and minerals, which we call wisdom. And then the icy cosmos condensed the vapor and turned it into crystals of water, creating snow. Each unique and special flake, with its own way forward. But as it fell on earth, its beauty and divinity were transformed, creating ice, the third form expressed by the ocean. Now, each snowflake would melt and become liquid, moving through the four cycles of being: spring, summer, autumn, and winter, which the ocean called expression, experience, integration, and transcendence. Again and again, the snowflakes evaporated and fell from the sky. From steam to fog, clouds and rain, each unique drop of water continues its way back to the ocean, filling with new wisdom. They shaped streams and rivers, lakes and lagoons, wetlands, bays, seas, and oceans. But despite this process of separating, of believing ourselves unique and different, we have always been one. We have always been the ocean that expresses itself in its many states and forms. I am one being who lives in all things. My body created life. Water absorbed light and transformed me into plasma, amoebas and algae, plants, insects, worms and fish, trees and reptiles, birds and mammals. I became human with many beings in many worlds. I became consciousness, until every part of me could fend for itself and believe, and come back to me. We were always one, a being that expresses itself in many ways. We are all part of the same biological being that connects us, and evolution is the loving form through which it is expressed. But then the ocean of ice interrupted me and spoke. Water is just one aspect of the real ocean, because water has a beginning and an end. Water is the best form through which we can understand the whole. But ask yourself, what ocean is bigger than any form of existence? And then I understood. The key was in the first word the ocean of ice spoke. Imagine. The largest ocean, timeless, infinite, without space or rules, laws or limits, where nothing and all coexist, is within us. It is our mind. The universe is mind. Everything that exists is the fruit of our imagination, which we all create together. All that exists is an idea that became thought, that, like drops, poured into rain of imagined creations and became our experience, beliefs. And these beliefs came true. Each being is a neuron in this vast universal mind. We are all part of the same consciousness, experiencing and creating thoughts, and these thoughts have locked us into a world of belief. Thought can only exist within a network. each part, full of potential, is connected to the others, creating synapses that have the power to propel us to action and transform our reality. Each and every one of us is a member of this great network, like nodes connected by invisible wires that we cannot see. And that's when I understood it. Uniting, stringing, remember, members, remember. To remember who I am is to reconnect the parts of myself that have separated throughout history, lost in the waves of time. Today I am part of the mind of a huge being called planet Earth. Every culture, religion, nation, science, and art is a way of thinking on Earth. But its thoughts are incongruous, not because they are not true, but because each of us believes that we possess the only truth. All the worldly conflicts that make us feel this incongruity arise from the disconnection of many parts of ourselves, from having forgotten that we are all one, that I am one. To remember is to reconnect everywhere, the members who will one day connect the thoughts of the whole world. But for unknown reasons, one of these many parts created a thought that disconnected us. This is where my journey begins, before the immensity of the white continent, surrounded by the great oceans, with the body of the earth as my vessel, and the goal of reconnecting every part of myself. And in this way, remember that I am. I am. I advance towards the horizon, fluctuating in the waves of existence. I am a drop in the middle of the ocean of the universal mind. Nothing else exists than the sea around me. Nothing else exists than the notion that I am me, a mere drop, and that I am a gigantic sea. Me. Water is the closest thing we know to the existence of God, of the cosmos. We are water. I am H2O, two simple hydrogen atoms that bonded to a powerful oxygen atom, a sacred spiritual trinity that would manifest in 3 states: vibration, energy, and matter, wisdom, love, and will, spirit, soul, and body, mind, emotion, and physic, gaseous, liquid, and solid. Water is the path of existence. It is the vehicle of consciousness. Water is the manifestation of the ocean of the cosmic mind, and that is why it is sacred. Water does not give life. Water is life. Humans believe that water is a requirement for allowing life to exist on a planet, and that without water we could not live. This is a misconception. Life does not exist without water, because water is life. Water is a single living body expanded throughout the universe, into various worlds, comets, planetary rings, and its droplets become thousands of shapes like the cells in our bodies. Me. Just as there is a neuronal cell, a cutaneous, a cardiac, an ocular cell, and an intestinal cell, they all exist because they are water administered and organized in different ways. I am. That's why you're not intelligent beings. Water is intelligent. Remember, it has memory, and it expands through geometry. Just as a snowflake manifests itself in perfection with its 6 points, living beings are also organized with arms and hands, heads, genitals, and a center in their torso, or branches and roots with their trunk. Water is ordered geometrically, and is a mineral that connects the kingdom of rocks with the kingdom of living beings. Me. So we have the memory of everything that happened in the universe through water? I am. That's right. If you access the memory of water, you can access the memory of all the records that your water lived, starting with your family, ancestors, continents, species, the history of the earth, and then comets, other worlds, aliens, and the frozen oceans of the cosmos, until you feel the other dimensions. Me. This is why many cultures use water as a vehicle of divine connection. Baptisms, sacred washing of hands, feet, and face. Water sites are more than sources of life. They are the sources of wisdom for many cultures. I am. Water is a mirror of divinity. You can see the universe and feel it in the water. Seas, oceans, lakes, and rivers, each with its own shape, deliver different data. Me. The subconscious is its depths, the unconscious is its currents, and the conscious is the living being that learned to swim in the ocean. I am. We are water. Me. So those of us who remember other lives, memories of the universe, do so thanks to water. How? I am. That's right, you do it by the vibration of it. Me. Like Masaru Emoto, in that in his studies he showed how water changes molecular patterns depending on the vibration it receives, ordering themselves harmoniously with words of love and forming chaotic structures before words of hatred. I am. The vibration that you consume, that resonates with, that comes to you, that emerges from you, the one that conditions the environment in which you move, the music, the news, and the people you listen to, all this shapes the molecules of your water, conditioning the plasma of the cells, and thus the DNA and its recorded information. Depending on the vibration of your being and what you let into you, the shapes of your waters will change, conditioning or releasing you. Me. Everything depends on the intention, the resonance and frequency in which I find myself, that I receive and emit, that opens doors to different memories. I am. That's right. Before being terrestrial mammals, all humans, like all living things, arose from single-celled bacteria at the bottom of the oceans near underwater volcanic calderas. The thermal energy generated a chemical reaction that caused certain organic components to be ordered to save energy. Soon, those compounds created a tiny membrane around them, enclosing water to support and protect the compounds. Thus arose this cell, a drop of water delimited, separated from the rest by this sugary membrane. This is the common ancestor of every multicellular living thing like humans and trees. They are all ocean in different ways, and therefore the information they share is the same. Me, and the same on a cosmic level. I am. Because water travels through frozen ice kites, which, like sperm, seed worlds with life. The mineral components of the earth and the water of the comets in the period of formation, at a perfect temperature, generated the necessary reaction to release oxygen and nitrogen capable of creating a planetary membrane in this terrestrial cell, which you call atmosphere. Like an egg, when creating this membrane, it defended itself from other possible programs, destroying them on the outer surface, something you usually see as beautiful shooting stars. Me. Before the first rains, water also came from the skies. I am. And it created in its condensation the oceans. Me. Today we have 5 main ones, but before it was only one. I am. Pantalasa. Life was born there, while until millions of years later, in the Pangaea on the way to formation, there were nothing but volcanoes and deserts. With the continental drift, Pantalasa was also creating the ocean of Tethys, which would disappear, giving rise to the Indian Ocean, while the great Pantalasa would become the great Pacific Ocean. As the Americas fractured, separating from Africa, it would let water invade the basins, creating the Atlantic Ocean. To the north, the continent of Laurasia moved from the pole, creating Asia and Europe to the south, leaving the Arctic Ocean at the top of the world, while on the contrary, Antarctica was placed at the South Pole, surrounding itself with circular currents around it that we call the Southern Ocean. Me. The 5 oceans that contain the continental Earth. I am. They are the blood of the world, the circulation of memory, living and constantly changing records. Me. I feel in its waters the cells that represent the anchors of its memory. In the Arctic, Georgeland, Svalbard, Lyakov, and Northern Islands, as well as the large islands of Nunavut and Greenland. In the Atlantic, along the Central Ridge, Iceland, Faroe, Azores, Ascension, St. Helena, Tristan da Cunha. In the Antarctic, Sandwich Islands and South Georgia, Kerguelen, Heard, and McDonald's. In the Indian Ocean, Maldives, Amsterdam Island, British Indian Territories, Mauritius, and Reunion. And in the Great Pacific, Micronesia, Marianas, Kiribati, French Polynesia, Rapa Nui, Cook Islands, Marshall Islands, Niue, Samoa, Tokelau, Tuvalu, Nauru, and Hawaii. I am. Non-continental oceanic islands are the ones that record the memory of the cosmos on Earth. The ones that unify the ancestral information of fire in volcanoes, of the earth in minerals, of water in the oceans, and of the air in the winds. Me. That's where we joined our origins, in the water. There we remember each of our steps. I am. There you have taken the first steps of your existence. There you will remember your history, and from there you have traced the network of planetary consciousness. Go back to the oceans, put your feet in their waters, and feel the life flowing throughout the universe. Remember, remember, remember. Me. In the ocean of the universal mind began the great journey of existence. In the ocean of Great Mother Earth began our journey for life, and it is in the great ocean of our imagination that our great journey into the future begins. I am. I am the cosmic ocean. Me. I am ocean and sea.
Mahasa.